music feel nice. See, we can feel your love.
The film The Harder They Come, based on the true story of a Kingston gunman, recorded the phenomenon of the rude boy. Jimmy Cliff plays a character who lives outside of the law.
What's it? You looking for me?
The Harder They Come was incredibly important in the story of Jamaican music becoming worldwide as it is today. The Harder They Come, what The Harder They Come did was give a context to the music, to give a sense of what was the culture behind this music, what was it that drove this incredible creativity which was coming out of Jamaica. And The Harder They Come really did that. Catch a Fire, I like to think was the first sort of real Jamaican record which was recorded as an album, not as a single. In those early days, an album would be a bunch of attempted singles, which might have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 even sort of pop singles on them, but then the rest were just songs that didn't quite come out as good as the other ones. With Catch a Fire had a point of view. It had a title which was really to sort of pull you in and check it out. Do you know what I mean? Both the title and the album cover. The album cover was packaged like a Zippo lighter. So, you know, I just believe that when you package something a little differently, a little specially, people, at least subconsciously, feel there's something going on there, there's something worth checking out. And so Catch a Fire, even though it didn't sell a huge amount in its first year, it only sold 14,000 copies in England in its first year, it was the record that really started Bob Marley off on the course of being a rock star, which he ultimately, of course, became probably bigger than anybody ever. Well, Black Uhuru were like a dream group for me because Black Uhuru had a very scary name. Uhuru was I think it's Swahili word for freedom, and Uhuru, when Kenya was getting its independence, you know, and there was a lot of violence going on, you know, Uhuru would be scrawled on the walls, so people were very scared of the word Uhuru. And then Black Uhuru sort of enforced that even stronger. And then their music was scary, because Robbie's bass, he has, you know, the way he plays bass, it just has a powerful, threatening kind of feel to it. And then they themselves, when they would walk in a room, you know, I was in a place one time. I was in a coffee shop one time. When they walked in the room, everybody got up, paid their bill, and left. They were just terrified. So what you had was a group with a scary name, with a scary sound, and a scary look, and they were incredible on stage. They would have been absolutely massive if they hadn't broken up. Toots, well, you asked me how did the Island 50th shows do in England, and they were pretty good, but Toots took it. He just did. Toots was on the last night. He was going to open for Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse didn't really happen, so in a way the last nights became a sort of drop, right, because the big star didn't turn up. But Toots played for 2.5 hours. He's as good as he has ever been. And I have known him since the early 60s, because his records were one of the first records I ever put out. Toots is an absolute miracle. Toots is unbelievable. He's unbelievable, Toots. Grace, well, of course, Grace was at her outrageous best on the shows in England, because she came on in a bizarre kind of costume. I couldn't quite see what it was. But we could see what it wasn't, because when she turned her back to the audience, she had absolutely no pants on. But I think she wanted to do that because she wanted to show how stunning she looks. And she looks unbelievable. She looked absolutely unbelievable. But Grace is literally a one-off. There's only one Grace Jones. Nobody else could attempt to reach it. Well, the joy about Jamaica is that, and Jamaicans, is that all the time that you spend working, playing, traveling, talking, drinking, whatever, is always fun. It certainly is for me. I just love the sensibility, the sense of humor, the creativity that exists with Jamaicans in general. It's really extraordinary, and I always keep saying it all the time, because I don't know whether people in Jamaica particularly even recognize quite how extraordinary the talent is in Jamaica, and how far it's reached, and how well known Jamaica is. The people and their creativity, absolutely, and of course the country.